Good morning. Welcome to your digital life, where we help you live life connected. My name is Christian Dickinson. I'm Executive Director at Grace Academy, Norman Beach, graceacademy21.com. My co-host Ray Ortega is not with us today. Instead, we're here recording live again in the studio, WNDB, with Dave Lang.
Welcome. Hello.
Thanks for having us back here.
Sure.
Our sponsor of your show is your digital life is Winchester Computers in the Foxborough Plaza on Bevel Road in Daytona Beach. If you missed part of the show, check it out on our website, christiandickinson.com. Today, we have two special guests in the studio for the second part of a two-part interview. I want to welcome back Ray, and welcome for the first time your digital life debut, Judy Ferguson. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you back. Glad you're feeling better today.
Thank you.
So I want to do a recap of last week's show. We talked about, let's see here, we talked about Ray racing in the Mexican 1000 with Bill France. We talked about Ray in the car business and in the a brief stint in the motorcycle business, but that wasn't very lucrative, right? Because you played with the toys a little bit too much.
Yeah, spend more time in the hospital than you do on the track.
In the office. We're closed today. Everybody had an accident, and the business is closed. That's pretty funny. And then, to my surprise, I didn't realize you were this young. You retired at 43. Was that
from the car business, correct?
From the car business, and then we didn't really talk about this, but you had a business with bird dogs.
Well, I just decided I'm going to have a bird dog, so I trained a couple of bird dogs for a couple of years, and then really got bored. You know, you can't hunt birds all year long, so.
So, but you trained them to sell them, or just train them for yourself?
No, just trained them for myself.
Oh, okay, all right. So then you started founded the Costa Sunglasses, and I wanted to correct it. It's Costa Del Mar, correct?
It was. Now they've changed the name to Costa.
Oh, okay. So when I looked it up, so just Costa, but it started out as Costa Del Mar.
Right.
Okay. And so I do have a little story here, and since we have Judy in the house today, Winchester Computers is a sponsor of our show, and one day I go outside and I see the van in her driveway, and Dave, and I go over there, and they're fixing her fax machine. So Judy doesn't text, but she faxed, and she asked me about it, and it was pretty cool. They came in, they do house calls, and they fix her computer. So, you know, Winchester Computers, that I think that's really important. They've been around since, I look on the internet, since '89. It's winchestercomputers.net. But if you're out there and you need someone to do a home visit, that's somebody you can trust, Judy. I mean,
oh yes, they work on fax machines, the computer. They're fantastic.
Yeah, and that's important to have someone you can
Yes.
trust when you bring them to your home. And a lot of times it's a pain to unplug your computer and take them there. So check them out.
There's a little story there. We go way back with Winchester. You know, the owner, Scott Winchester's father-in-law was my comptroller for many, many years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Fascinating.
there's a long-time connection there, and we trust them. They always treat us right.
Well, so it's kind of like family then. I know this business. Oh, well, I didn't know that. Pretty neat. Always another story with Ray. So, Judy, what was your role at Costa when you were there?
I did all the payables. I handled the money. I love making deposits.
Oh, yeah.
And I did all the payables and some of the purchasing, all the payroll. That
All the
was,
payroll. Oh, yeah. So you were kind of like the accountant back then.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. My mom did that when my dad had his construction business. I think we had a CPA come in once a month to do something, but my mom pretty much did the payroll and did the taxes and paid all that. But was kind of your role.
Yeah,
very much
Lou
like
Frey was my teacher, instructor.
And
He was at Ferguson Pontiac. He was a CPA.
Oh, okay.
And then we started Costa. He was there with me.
Awesome.
He's a great guy.
So, so you did all the payables. Now, I remember a story about something you got. Did you get a piece of jewelry every week? What was that? What was that about?
Oh, I forgot I told you that.
She told me that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, every Friday, Ray would always give me a piece of jewelry. I love bling bling.
Oh, love a little bling bling,
Yes.
huh? How long did that last? Till you ran out of jewelry, Ray, or ran out of money?
A good 20 years.
Oh my goodness!
Yes.
Wow, that
Yes.
is awesome. So what's your most unique piece that you have?
I bought an emerald in South America. It's an emerald cluster. And
Wow.
I brought it back and had it framed and wear it as a necklace.
Oh, wow.
It's really unique.
And people don't realize that, but, the emeralds are much more rare than diamonds. Diamonds are, interestingly enough, regulated.
Yeah.
And so it's no coincidence that diamonds go up 10% every year because they control it.
Yeah.
Where emeralds and rubies, they are very rare, and they're actually worth way more money than diamonds are because it's a marketing lure. And that we all buy into it. I mean, they sell it to us so much. Even I bought into it. I had to buy a diamond,
Sure.
So you guys had a place in the Bahamas, and you showed me something one time. It's called sea glass.
Oh, yes.
Tell me how does that work? That's a special. Dave, have you ever heard of sea glass?
It's old broken beer bottles and
It's-
milk of magnesia bottles.
right.
It's hung around in the ocean for decades and has its own look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it wears it off. It looks like a
Yeah.
rock, but in the Bahamas where they lived, somehow the stream comes right there, and it just
Yes.
dumped sea glass there, and they made
I
jewelry
have
of it.
lots of sea glass, and they
Very
make
cool.
pictures out of it.
It's
I have
beautiful.
some jewelry out of that
Yeah.
because they don't clean the beaches over there. It washes in, and years of rubbing in the sand gives it a different texture, a polished texture.
It's beautiful. You
It's
gave
beautiful.
me a piece, you
Yeah.
recommended I go to one of our local jewelers. Do you have them do
Yes.
some custom work? Which one was that?
Yeah. Either Volusia Jewelers
Mainly gold.
and also mainly gold. Both have made pieces for
Oh,
me.
very nice.
They're very.
So
very-
they've been around for a while. They're still and they're
Yes.
still there.
Yes,
Okay, cool.
both of them.
All right, that's awesome. So last week we didn't get into this too much. What about did you have any mentors, Ray, like that mentored you through business in the car business? I mean, I'm guessing your dad or uncle, or how'd that start out?
Well, of course, my dad was in the car business, but I lost him at an early age. He had heart problems. And then I was just into automobiles and ran from there now. Come guidance, I had a good friend, Dr. Bob Davis, who was always there for me, and we fished together, and that gave us a camaraderie. And he was my fatherly image from the time I was probably in my 30s until he died, and he died in 97, and I miss him.
Yeah, I think it's important to have. My dad died early too, and I've always had older mentors that kind of would talk to you, somebody you could talk to. But that was probably more personal, not business. What about any business mentors, or you just kind of grew up in it so much it just came easy to you?
Well, I do want to remember a man by the name of Bathrick, Don Bathrick, who gave my dad the opportunity to work for Pontiac Motor Division, and then later on supported him in a dealership in Fort Lauderdale, and that got us off the farm.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Now, let me ask you this. I don't think I've talked to you about this before, but I'm sure that you've been involved kind of paying it forward and helping other people start business. I know you did the sunglasses and the cars, but any other business that you've been involved in, helping people, and then just kind of...
Yes, in the motorcycle end of it, I helped my nephew get involved. He ran the Yamaha store for us for a while and wound up with his own dealership in North Carolina.
Oh.
And then there's just been other things, but they are more of a personal loan than they were me taking an active role.
Like kind of the venture capitalists into other people, and they help you out.
Right.
Yeah, we just had somebody that goes to our school. I probably shouldn't mention the name, but it's a famous person in the area, really famous, and they invested into her business so she could get started. And I thought, what a great thing. The bank wouldn't loan the money, of course. So this is somebody that believed in what she was doing. It was good for the community, had the money, said, we're going to invest in you. And that's a neat thing to do because everybody, needs a chance. And, sometimes you need someone to kind of personally finance that.
Yeah.
What about any people in the business industry? Anybody you look up to as far as the way they do business? I mean, Donald Trump. I mean, obviously he's out there, but...
Might have to think about that. I have some heroes, but offhand I can't put a name on them.
What about any advice to entrepreneurs out there that, if you have people with ideas, what do you say that they should do?
Well, I'm an admirer of Hyatt Brown. I think he's done a fabulous career. And some other people
You know, and one of the things when we interviewed the CEO of Got Chosen, I don't know if you listened to that, Dave, but this guy sat around for 3 years trying to figure out something new, and he has come to the conclusion that you can't. That everything out there has been done, and of course, you know, in your case, you started the sunglasses thing, and it was kind of like build a better mousetrap because there was a need to be able to do that. And I think you told us last week how many there was anybody doing polarized at the time?
Yes, there was some polarized lenses around, but they were in the low end, which didn't have very good optics. But
Right.
but they were polarized. But I think that when we made a quality product and charged for it, that they responded. You know, baby boomers like to be educated about a product.
Right.
And once they learn about it, they're into it.
What did you do plastic first, or did you do glass?
There's an optical plastic, optically correct. It's called CR39.
Yeah, I remember you
We
saying
did
that.
those at first because they were lightweight, and then we found that there was a demand for glass because they were less scratch resistant, or more scratch resistant.
Right.
So we went and had both.
And were the original plastic, could you make eyeglasses out of them too, or they were just for sunglasses?
No, you can make prescription sunglasses out of them.
So the first ones you did were both sunglasses and prescription.
Yes, we had it available. Of course, we concentrated on the plano, which
Right.
was no correction, so because that's where the volume was.
Right. So how did that work? So how did that work getting into the optics to be able to put your eyeglasses? Did you have to go to local stores and say, hey, listen, here's our frames? Is that what you sold them, the frames, and they put the optics in?
Picture in every town there's optical labs that actually do the correction in the lenses for your optician.
Okay. Right.
So we would go to them and they would do polarized lenses for us. What you would need, of course, is a script that tells what the correction should be, and they have all that knowledge, and they can put it in. Then we would cut that lens to fit whatever frame they wanted, and that was the end product.
So did you send them your glass to the place, and they were correcting it?
No, they were able to buy from a source a lens that is
Right.
unfinished. you
Well,
know.
so the polarization wasn't really a technology that you did; it was just the idea. So any lab could have polarized back, and they just weren't doing it. Is that right?
That's probably about right. What happens is the source is, there's a warehouse full of lenses with different corrections in them, and then these people at the labs put that together and for the script that is written out for the correction.
All right, well, that's pretty interesting. All right, well, we're here with Ray and Judy Ferguson, and we're talking about Costa sunglasses. We're talking about sea glass. We're talking about a bunch of stuff, but we're going to be right back. We're going to take a break in a couple minutes, and we'll catch you in 2 minutes.
Still using an old Windows XP computer? Microsoft stopped offering XP support earlier this year. That means no more updates, including patches for critical security issues. Don't leave yourself vulnerable. Upgrade to your choice of Windows 7 or 8 this holiday season, plus get free bench fees and free lifetime support at no additional charge with Winchester Computers. If your old Windows laptop, tablet, or computer is running slow, bring it to Winchester Computers for a free checkup. They specialize in speeding up older systems at a fraction of the cost of a new one. And during the holidays, their award-winning service department is doing those troubleshooting checkups for free. And if you've got business system or network issues, Winchester Computers can arrange for their partners at Green Technology and Palmer Tech to come to you for free hardware and network evaluation. Get it all this holiday season with Winchester Computers at the corner of Clyde Morris and Bevel Road in the Foxborough Plaza. Online at winchestercomputers.com.
One for the money, two for the show. Three to get ready now. Go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe. Well, you can do anything but take me over my blue suede shoe.
Welcome back to your digital life, and just like last week, we had an intro with a little Elvis Presley there. Last week we talked about what Elvis Presley, the Fergusons, and Mercedes-Benz has in common, and Ray sold Elvis a 600 limo,
yeah.
one of a kind, or only a few in the United States. And so there's a picture with Brother Bill and at their place out there in Seville, and it's pretty cool. But also, I want to talk about Judy. Judy really loves Elvis Presley, and
yes, he's my favorite.
Did you get to see him in concert?
Oh, yes.
I think you got to meet Elvis Presley, didn't you?
Absolutely. It was about 1956 or 57.
Mm-hmm.
He came to the Peabody Auditorium, and everybody went to see him, all of the teenagers.
Sure.
And we just happened to know where he was staying,
Oh.
and I can't believe we did this. We followed him back to his hotel, and we knocked on the door, and he came to the door, and we asked for an autograph, and he signed my hand
Oh, wow.
and kissed my hand, and I
Wow.
did not take a shower for several days. He was
pretty cool.
very polite and humble.
Oh, yeah.
He was a nice young man.
All the stories are true about him. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Now, your parents had, they were in the motel business, is that right?
We moved to Florida in 1953, and we had the Belvedere Beach Motel.
Is that in Daytona or Daytona
Then
Shores?
Daytona Beach Shores.
The Shores.
In
oh,
the
okay.
Shores.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Have things changed a lot since
Oh,
then? Yeah.
yes. A1A then was a 2-lane road,
Oh.
and then they came along and, made it a 4-lane
Sure.
highway. And
Is the place still there?
no, when my dad died in 72, my brother, Dean Malik, and my husband, Ray Ferguson, bought the property,
Oh, wow.
tore it down, and built the big Sandpoint condominium that's there now, near the Daytona Hilton.
See, Ray, you're holding out on us. You talked about cars and
Well.
sunglasses. You didn't tell us that you knocked down buildings and put new ones up.
Well, let's see. Dean and I bought the property actually in about 81, 82. Judy's dad died at 72 years old, so there's a little room for confusion there. But anyway, we did develop it with Ed Peck, and he was the brains behind the development. He had done it many times, and so we enjoyed that partnership, and it was successful.
What was that the first time you built something commercially, or had you built dealerships and stuff before?
Yeah, dealerships, but they were just, one at a time type things for my personal business use. But this was a partnership with in real estate, which I hadn't done before, and there's a lot to it. I'm glad Ed was there.
And what it was, is it still there?
Sandpoint. Sandpoint condo now sits on that property.
Is it on the beach or across the street?
It's on the beach.
On the beach. Oh, so it's down in Daytona Shores, a big
Yeah.
Yeah,
condo.
it's near the Daytona, the Hilton.
Yeah, it's a
Oh.
couple.
It was 2615 South Atlanta.
Oh, okay. So those are all private residents. They're not like vacation condos. I mean, people live there, right?
No, they're condos people live in.
Oh.
It's about 3 buildings north of the old Hilton. Yeah.
Wow. So you bought those. That's a whole big process. So you bought those, and I mean that was back in what year was that? In the 80s?
81, 82.
Yeah. So that
around
was
there.
probably in the prime of people buying condos to kind of, were they retiring and buying condos to live in?
Yeah, and then just snowbirds, wanting a place down here, and of course, all of them had a manager that were quite capable of renting your house or your condo out while you weren't there. So that was a popular thing to do.
And how did that work back in the nowadays? Boy, it's so easy with social media and the internet to be able to advertise. How did you advertise those condos? Or do you know how they did that?
There's just a sign out front, condos available.
Really? So
Yeah.
it was just people driving by. You didn't put it in a magazine or
Well, you had
put
a little
billboard
of that,
or.
but it was very inexpensive, and there's magazines that catered to just that, and they were all tourist oriented, where you could get coupons for dinners
okay.
and everything, and in those magazines would be an ad, but you wouldn't be the only one in there.
Right. So you didn't spend a lot of money on advertising because the location was just so
Right.
prime. People would drive down on vacation and say, "Hey, I want a condo," and
Yeah.
you'd hook them up and be able to do that. Did it ever become part of the RCI? The big organizations that trade condos out, or
No, it's still very private.
so people that live there have to rent it out themselves, so they might use some other company.
No,
or
the
something.
manager usually handles it for them.
Oh.
He is a live-in manager and his
Right.
wife, and they've been there since day one. And I think we closed out on the sales in '84, and they've been there all that time. So they've got connections.
Oh, wow.
People come back and re-rent.
So what happens, if I may ask, because I don't really understand that happens. So you and another investor, you invest in building these condos, and so you own the whole condo, and until some point you turn it over to the organization that runs
Homeowners Association, right?
when it sells out at some point.
Yeah, when it sells out at some point.
Huh. That's interesting. And you sold it out, and so how long did the whole process take?
Oh, the building and the sellout, probably 2 years.
So so Hard Rock is doing that now. I see them advertising on
Yeah.
I-4. They're advertising those condos for, well, what are they, 300 or 350 or something like that?
And that'd be the best thing that happened to Daytona in quite a while.
Yeah, you think that's going to be the game changer?
Yeah, that'll improve the whole image and get things started.
Yeah, you think that, but they can't, and this is, I should know the answer to this question. They can't gamble right now, can they? No, but that's what they're going for eventually.
Sure. Sure.
And they're going to use it for convention center too, isn't that the pitch on that? It's to be able to bring business here to Daytona.
I don't think they're going to have a big venue of any kind there in that building, but to have it for convention, sure, because we need quality hotels here.
Is that,
And it's part hotel, part condo. Right?
Oh,
Right.
so what's the draw? So the draw is a part condo. Okay, so it's going to be kind of another high-end condo to do that. So I know that I have friends. They do have a casino over in Tampa. How do they? Would they put that on the water or something?
Well, that's on Indian property, Native American property. They can have a casino here.
So it's not on the water.
I don't know. I've never been there.
No, I haven't either.
I had some friends that
Gambling.
Yeah, I had some friends I used to golf with, and they were gamblers, and they gave up golf to gamble, and they would drive over and stay, every weekend. And of course, I guess you gamble enough, they'll give you a free room and some free food, which is relative,
Free,
Yeah.
You're paying for it.
Right. We speaking of other businesses, talk to us a little bit about Saddle Ridge. You got into the land business, and what was your vision for that?
About 5 of us decided that we wanted our own park, So, and we all enjoyed the outdoors, and we all shared in liking things like riding 4-wheelers and 2-wheelers through the trails and woods, and we all like shooting, so we got our own gun range, and we have our own trails, and we enjoy that. And then we started out with 250 acres and wound up with about 1,200, and now we're going to put some of that on sale and just enjoy the rest. But we all built a little cabin down there in the woods, and
so originally it was personal, but then you bought some more, or did you when you bought it down there, did you have a vision kind of for?
Yeah, we knew we were going to sell part of it to pay for the rest.
Right, and your target audience, which I think is brilliant, by the way, because we have families that drive up all the way to Ocala to do that horse stuff. There's a little bit in Ponte Vedra, but the majority of it is up in Ocala. But you're basically creating a place for people to have, what is it, 10, 20 acres for horses?
Right, 10 and 20 acre
Tracts.
lots, partials. Yeah.
Right, and so people...
Now horse people just need that much room.
Right, so how long you think it'll take to happen? And the economy's coming back
Well, the
out?
economy thing came along and postponed everything. I'd say 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So it'll probably be another 5 before we get
See,
that
That'll,
part of it done.
and that'll change everything out there. That's out
Yeah.
in, what is that? What technically is in Seville?
No,
Or- it's in
it's got a Pearson zip code.
Pearson zip code, which is what about 30 minutes, 40 minutes from town, probably.
I think it's 40 minutes from the Norman Walmart.
Oh, okay. So that's not too bad. And that's really not. I can really see people even from Orlando coming there because it's probably, I don't know, maybe 70 minutes, hour and a half from Orlando for people that want to have horses and be able to get out there. And now that marketing will be different. I'm sure you guys, the internet marketing to certain people. I know out in, I'll give you what little hint that I have, but out when I lived out in Claremont, there was a place called Mount Verde. And somebody came out and bought, and this was really in the middle of nowhere, okay, kind of like this place is. And they bought all this property up, like that had been citrus fields. And then they built a humongous golf course on it and horses and all this, all high end, and they marketed over in Europe.
Yeah.
And they were selling these they auctioned off these lots. I'm not kidding you. This property was worth nothing. They were auctioning off the lots for $400,000 to build a house. And they didn't want horses. But they marketed over in Europe, and people came over there, and this place changed within, 4 or 5 months. So now you have an opportunity to be able to, talk to somebody, market it in a different area where the money exchange is different, because when they bring their money over here, it's so that'll be good for our community.
That's true. We're open for any kind of development,
right?
Or developer.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you a couple more questions here because we only have a couple minutes left here. I wrote down. We know your favorite college football team's Florida State. For those of you who don't know, he's a big fan. You got to meet Bobby Bowden a couple times?
Yes, I did, and enjoyed him. Of course, he's a gentleman.
Yes. Maybe a picture
and that
with
was
him.
part of the draw. We liked the way he handled himself.
Yeah, he was a really neat guy. I wonder if he went to the game. I'm sure he probably didn't like that too much. Mm-hmm. I should have asked you this last week, and maybe you don't have one because you've had so many dealerships, but do you have a favorite car, like a sports car that you've had?
Well, let's see. If I had to buy a sports car, I'd buy a Corvette.
What year?
A new one.
Oh, a new one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think they're great.
What about you don't have an old favorite, like 66 Corvette or anything like that you've had that was just wonderful?
Well, I've had a 78 Jeep truck since it was new. 78. I gave it to my grandsons last year.
Right.
And they have it now out in Texas. So that was my favorite truck. My favorite car would probably be anywhere between a 57 Chevy and the Cobra.
Ah, the Cobra.
Yeah.
Wow. My dad had one of those back in the day. Well, we only have about a minute left, so this wraps up your edition of Your Digital Life. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Winchester Computers, and Ray and Judy Ferguson. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
It's always enjoyable to learn more about you. Check out the recording on our website, and I'm actually going to post this, I think, in SoundCloud too, so you can send it to your grandkids so they can hear it. So join us next week on Your Digital Life on WNDB 93.5 FM and 11:50 a.m., where we help you live life connected.